Got the power of Gateway Outdoor Expo. Brad Kovach joins us now. Hey, how are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us here in Alton. I mean, we're creeping closer and closer. A little bit over a month and a half left, but March 31st is going to hit us sooner than later, huh?
Yeah, it's a little frightening.
I love it. So how geared up are, I mean, this is a really big deal, and I wanted to get you on a little bit early to talk about it because I know so many people are going to, I mean, a premier consumer show and cultural gathering for regional outdoor community. So much happens. Give us the details if you could, preview it for us a bit.
Absolutely. So this is, I think, the fifth year that we've been involved with the show, we being Terrain Magazine. That's also, I'm the editor-publisher of Terrain Magazine, and we are a presenter of this expo. So, really, it's 200 vendors. We're hoping for, last year we had about 8,000 attendees, so, hoping for that again this year. It's outside at Tower Grove Park in Midtown St. Louis. And so, imagine sort of your typical outdoor festival, food, fun, beverages, but then the booths are going to be all related to outdoor recreation, whether that is, it could be a running group, it could be a mountain biking event, it could be just service organizations or nonprofits that have to do with conservation or trail development, or just getting people outdoors and having fun in different sorts of hiking groups and stuff like that. So it's sort of a mishmash of all the types of folks you might want to be engaged with in the outdoor community here in the St. Louis area.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, just, right here, in my backyard with, the Pierre Marquette State Park, the River Road, so many great opportunities for us to, utilize our green spaces and adventure a little bit and explore. And there's no better way, in my opinion, for all of us to head down there and really get, in the thick of it and talk to some folks that really know a lot about these things. And, what I think is really cool, Brad, is there's something for everybody. There's health and wellness, adventure, road and track, off-road, water categories, all of those things that really tie in everybody together. Was that a big goal of your guys, of the Gateway Outdoor Expo right away?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Briefly when it started, it was just a bike expo, and so when we took it over about again 5 or 7 years ago, we had a couple COVID years there in the middle. We wanted to expand it immediately. Biking in St. Louis is a massive community, and we have, we're really fortunate to have that. But not everyone wants to bike, so we wanted to engage the hikers, the campers, the paddlers, everybody, and try to really create a space where, the expo always takes place around this time of the year, the March, April timeframe. So, people probably been stuck inside for a number of months. They're itching to kind of get their spring and summer schedule in order. So we like to look at the expo as well as a place where you can come, meet people who are like you, interested in getting outside in the spring, making plans for the summer. Maybe you don't know how to engage with a paddling group or where to go. Well, we want the expo to serve that need for you. So you can come down, talk to some groups and say, hey, I've never paddled here, or I never knew about this group that I can, glom onto and make new friends and go with them and feel that safety in numbers and build that community. So really that's in very large part what the expo is all about.
That's fantastic. And I was just looking online, Brad, over some of the old last year's pictures of the event, and just so many people out and about. It seems to me that the pandemic years, I mean, even though you guys had to go through that and deal with it, I mean, you guys bounced back pretty good.
Yeah, we took a couple years off, or pushed the show back a couple of years during those COVID years. But it's no secret, you've probably seen it in the media. The outdoors really did get a nice bounce back from the pandemic, because people did want to get outside. They wanted, it's one of the only safe spaces you could go, really. So, the expo has definitely seen some growth over the last couple of years due to that, I think, because people are now more engaged with the outdoors. They want to learn more, and therefore, this is a place where they can come and learn that information.
Absolutely. And just a little bit more of the ins and outs of the expo. It's going to run from March 30th through April 1st. Is there anything we need to know about those days? Are there select events, select programs happening on those days, or can we get a glimpse of it throughout the weekend?
Yeah, it's open hours on March 31st and April 1st. So the hours are 10 to 6, I think, on the first day, and 10 to 5 on the second day. But it's mainly a full day event. It's free to the public, so you don't have to expect to pay any money to enter the show. It's going to be in Tower Grove Park, so it's very accessible to folks in the city, in the county, and obviously, just over the river in Metro East. So, we want to keep it that way. So it's hopefully, very welcoming and easy to get to for everybody. We would just invite everyone to come down and bring an open mind, bring ideas for adventures you'd like to have, and spend a little time just poking around. Like I mentioned earlier too, we'll have some food and drinks there, which is something we really haven't done before. So that's kind of a new aspect for us. And the reason for that, again, is just to build that community vibe, that gathering of like minds, and have people hang out rather than just sort of dip in and dip out. We'd like for people to just spend an afternoon and meet new friends, and get their excitement going for the next year outdoors.
Absolutely. And, I have to ask you, because I know you're going to go, CJ, why are you putting me on the spot? But I just got to ask. I mean, I'm looking, how many exhibit booths, how many of these vendors spaces are you guys utilizing? I have to assume it's a couple hundred at least.
Yeah, so we booked it out for about 200, which we're right on the cusp of that right now. We do have the option to expand a bit. Tower Grove is, as you probably know, is just a huge park.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity to even add more booths. So for sure, I would say 200 is definitely going to happen, and then maybe we'll get as fortunate to get 225 or something like that. So yeah, it's going to take you some time to get through all those booths and have meaningful interactions with folks.
Absolutely. I got to ask you, so I'm looking through some of the different ins and outs, some of the highlights that are going to be featured coming up here shortly, March 31st. And I'm looking, there's so many really cool things, demo areas, rock climbing walls. Out of all of them, do you have a particular favorite?
Oh, that's a good question. So one of the nice things about being outdoors this year, the show previously had been in a convention center,
Right.
which was great, don't get me wrong. But being outside is kind of, I feel like, where it belongs. And also, along with that, we have more opportunity to do more activities. So yeah, we have, as you mentioned, there's going to be a mountain bike demo course where people are going to be able to get on bikes and go over some simulated obstacles. The rock climbing wall from Upper Limits is always popular. So to answer your question, the one that I'm most excited about, because I've seen this done before but have not done it myself, but it looks really cool, is technical tree climbing. So that's not just, going out in your backyard and hopping onto the tree in your back and scaling up, 15 feet. This is actually done on large trees, 50-foot trees and taller. And you're roped in as though you would be climbing, rock climbing or whatever. You have a harness, you have ropes, so there's safety built into it. The instructors are certified in a number of ways, but you get to climb these trees 50, 60 feet in the air. And so that's something that I think is going to be really cool. That'll be happening right there on site at the expo. And so people will be able to see it and participate in it. And I just think it's a unique aspect that you're not going to see at many other shows.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you're a mind reader, but as I was looking through everything and I thought, man, these are really, really cool things. I got to technical tree climbing and my interest just peaked right up. I mean, that seems like something that's really incredible. So do we have to register in advance for some of these activities?
Yeah, so you do only for two of them. The tree climbing is one of them because, as you can imagine, there's only a certain amount of folks that safely can be on the tree at one time. And then there are some clinics being offered by our mountain biking provider, who is Wheels Up Mountain Biking Camps, that you will need to sign up for because, again, you need to keep those class sizes sort of small so that everyone involved is going to get the impact or get out of it what they need to. So those links are on our website, which I'm sure you'll share with people. And yeah, if people are interested in doing that, just pop over, click the link, and you can register directly through our site so that when you get down there that day, whatever time you choose, you'll be all set to go.
We had a text question come in for the mountain bike demo activity while you were discussing it initially. And is this for all experience levels, or do you need to have a little bit of some insight before we register for the class?
Yeah, no, great question. So there are a variety of courses. So if I recall, there are a couple of beginner courses. I think they're calling them mini mountain bike foundations. So that, is really for folks who, I think as long as you can ride a bike, you certainly, need to know how to do that. But I think beyond that, you're good to go. And then there will be more advanced courses. I believe that Wheels Up is going to actually offer some jumping courses. So that's something that's going to be a little more advanced. You're not going to want to step on a mountain bike as a novice and then immediately try to jump. But there will be a variety, so that wherever you feel as though you fall into the scale of beginner to advanced, there'll be something for you there.
Absolutely. And Brad, a couple minutes left, but I do want to ask you a little bit about, if it's okay, we'll circle back to the expo and we'll tie it all up with that. But I got to ask you a little bit about Terrain. How long have you had the magazine?
So Terrain turned 9 years old in January. So we're working on that 10-year next year, which is exciting for us.
And I got to ask you, is there some plans that you're working on for that 10th anniversary?
Oh, I'm sure we'll have parties. We like to do that at Terrain anyway. We're pretty loose, and it's a fun place to work, a fun job. It's one of those things where my personal passion came together with my professional experience, and that's really why I founded the magazine 9 years ago. It was just kind of a passion thing, a side gig, if you will, for a while there, and then it got momentum and grew into a full-time job. So I've just been really happy and gratified and fortunate that that's happened in my life.
Absolutely. And I really can't thank you enough, Brad. And congratulations on everything. And honestly, a true testament. If you can find something you really love like that you're passionate about, and it turns out to be as well as this is, I mean, that's something to really be proud of. And thank you so much for giving us a couple of minutes today. I know that you're busy ahead of this. Now, I got to ask you, before I let you go, one last question, because it is a good text question. How long does it take to set up this event? I mean, whenever, we had the COVID years and all that, but just a year in and year out. I mean, are you guys starting to, book the expo maybe a couple of weeks after or a couple months?
We typically start booking for the next year, I would say 3 months after the previous one. So, we're looking summertime this year, we would be booking for 2024. And then logistically, briefly, because I know we're short on time, to actually set up the show, you'd be surprised. It takes probably about 6 or 8 hours to set up, and then it takes about 3 hours to tear down. People are always, anxious to get home at the end of it. But it's a heavy lift for a couple days, but it's a heck of a lot of fun.
That sounds incredible. And by the way, I'll pass on the setup time. That is, that's a lot of setting up to do. But you know what? At least I can come down from March 31st to April 1st and enjoy it at Tower Grove Park. It's the Gateway Outdoor Expo, the premier consumer show and cultural gathering for regional outdoor community. Brad, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
It's 9:33 on this 15th day of February. A quick break. We'll come right back for more of our daily show after this in the heart of the Riverbend.